Good morning, everybody. We go to the Chitas of today. We're holding, today is Thursday, we're holding the fifth reading of the portion of the Chukotai, the last portion in the book of Leviticus. We are holding on chapter 27, verse number 16. If from the man will consecrate, he will make holy he'll consecrate the field of his inheritance. Then his the value will be if he's zera it will be according to its sowing. Zera chaymer se'edim b'chamishim shekel kesef, an area which requires a chaymer of barley seeds at this 50 shekels. So Rashi says that not according to this is an interesting calculation. Rashi says not the calculation, not according to its value, whether the field is good quality or bad quality. The redemption from being holy is equal. I mean, the area required a chomer in scriptures, a barley of seeds must redeem for 50 silver shekel. So again, if somebody dedicated, they gave the Beis Hamikdash a field, then and he wants to come and redeem it, or somebody wants to come and redeem it, he has to give 50 shekel to the certain quantity of seed. This scripture decree. This is what's called the Gzeres HaKosov. Now this applies to one who comes to redeem it at the beginning of the Jubilee cycle, namely in the first year. However, if he comes to redeem it in the middle of the Jubilee cycle, after the first year has elapsed, he must pay according to the calculation of one selah, meaning a shekel and a pundin, 1/4 of 1/8 of a shekel per year, depending how many years until the Jubilee. And this is all brought in the Gemara, because the property consecrated only according to the years of the Jubilee is if it is redeemed within the Jubilee cycle, very good. Meaning it reverts to its original owner and is no longer the temple property. But if not, the temple treasurer sells it to someone else at the mentioned price, and it remains in the purchase possession until next Jubilee. And it goes back to original owner, just like the other fields which he sold. Then when it leaves the possession of the purchaser in the Jubilee, it reverts to the Kahanim of that watch, namely the shift officiating when the Yom Kippur of that Jubilee occurs. Because when somebody consecrates a field, it doesn't go back to the owner, it'll always go back to the Beis Hamikdash. It'll always go back to the temple. Who receives the fields at that time, that is the Kehanim of that time, whoever the Kehanim in the year of Jubilee on Yom Kippur is. So that's the way it would go. So they would divide it according to them. So in the year of Jubilee on Yom Kippur, it was good to be the Kehanim of that session. The Kehanim are divided 24 family watches or shifts, each rotation for 2 or 3 1-week periods every year. So this is the law stated regarding one who consecrates his field. I will now explain according to the order of the verses. So now, whatever you learned to Rashi, we're going to now go into the verse itself. Now, if the consecrated his fields when the Jubilee year has ended, it will remain as its full valuation. What does that mean? Rashi, if as soon as the Jubilee has ended, he immediately consecrated his property within the first year of the next Shemitah and the Jubilee cycle, he comes to redeem it immediately, meaning before the first year, like the above mentioned verse, it shall be, namely, he must give 50 silver shekel for the size of the stated field. And if he consecrated his field after the Jubilee, if he comes to redeem it after that, after the year, then the Kohen will calculate to him the money according to the remaining years until the next Jubilee. Deducted from its valuation. So Rashi says, meaning, and not only in this case, but likewise, if the original owner had consecrated a property immediately after the Jubilee ended, and it remained in possession of the treasure of the Beis Hamikdash, and this one comes to redeem it after the first year following the Jubilee, then it shall be according to the rate. According to the rate. What does that mean? Rashi already explained this. Scripture has stated the fixed value of redemption of a field whose size of the stat stated in our verse. For 49 years as 50 silver shekel. 1 shekel for each of the 49 years, and an extra shekel paid over all the 49 years. Now, a shekel is equivalent to 48 pundins. Thus, 1 seller, a shekel, and 1 pundin for each year, except that 1 pundin is missing from all of them. Meaning, if we figure out 50 shekel, we only have 49 shekel and 48 pundins, which is then less than a seller and a pundin per year. But the redeemer is required to pay 1 extra pundin per 49-year period. For our rabbis taught that the extra pundin is a surcharge for the currency change, a small change, meaning if someone comes to purchase a silver shekel with pundins, he'll be charged 49 for them. It's really only 48. The extra pundin being surcharged for attaining the more significant single shekel coin rather than many small. This surcharge then is passed on to the one who wishes to redeem the field. Hence, an annual rate of 1 shekel and 1 pundin. The redeemer actually paying for 49. Actually paying the 1/49th of a pundin currency exchange surcharge every year. 1/49th, because together he gives 1 pundin for the all 49 years. And therefore, someone who comes to redeem a field must pay 1 seller, which is a shekel and 1 pundin for every year. So it's 49 shekel and 49 pundin for every year until the next Jubilee. So again, if it's in the year, it's 50 shekel. If it's after the year, it's 1 shekel for each year. Depends when you're going to redeem it in the 49 years of the Jubilee. So Rashi says, as Rashi says, the number of years preceding Jubilee until the redemption year. So it depends, is he coming to the year? If, the pasuk is talking about a guy who came a year later. So if he came a year later, so now you have 48 years left till the next Jubilee. If one who consecrated a field comes to redeem it himself, right? So we mentioned a guy who gave an animal, a guy who gave a house. Now the guy comes and he wants to redeem his field that he consecrated. So the same thing. He has to pay with the previous calculation. He has to add a 5th. If the previous owner himself comes to redeem it, he has to add a 5th to his redemption. The kamloi, like he has to do it if he redeems his animal, if he redeems his house, and now if he redeems his field, the guy himself that sold it needs to add a 5th. So now a person who consecrated himself must add a 5th to this set amount. Verse 20, if the field will never be nobody's going to redeem the field. And if he sold the field to someone else, can be redeemed again. So Rashi says, what does it mean? The one who consecrated the field, didn't redeem it. V'machar, and if the Beis Hamikdash, the treasurer, ksada, as a sad lishachar, if he gave it to somebody else, lo yigal, meaning to revert the possession of one who consecrated it. It never goes back to him. Forget it. In the regular field, if he sells, always go back in the Jubilee. But if if the Beis Hamikdash sold the field, then it never reverts to original owner again. What happens to the field on the 15th year of the Jubilee? So that dictator says in verse 21, that field that a guy gave to the Beis Hamikdash as a donation. The Beis Hamikdash sold the field. What does the Beis Hamikdash don't need fields? The Beis Hamikdash sold the field for the money. Now the field is sold to somebody else. Now Jubilee comes. The field reverts. Reverts where? Kodesh Hashem reverts back to the Beis Hamikdash. It goes back to the Kohen. It goes back to the Kehanim. So Rashi says the field leads into the possession of one who has purchased it from the treasurer, the Beis Hamikdash. Just like a field that leads the possession of the purchaser and comes on Jubilee, it returns. So Rashi, what does it mean it returns? This does not mean that it reverts to the treasurer. It doesn't revert to the treasurer as sacred property. That means the treasurer can sell it again. This is an interesting concept. It doesn't actually go back to the Beis Hamikdash. It goes back to the Kohanim. Rather, it's like a field devoted, which given to the Kohanim. As it says, anything though devoted in Israel belongs to you. This too shall be divided in the year of Jubilee to the Kohanim of the watch of that time. That means if you were a Kohen and your watch was on Yom Kippur of the year of Jubilee, you became a wealthy man, because all the fields that the Beis Hamikdash sold in the past 49 years, all goes back to the Kehanim, whoever were in the watch at that time, and they divided it. And it became their private property, the Kehanim's private property. So that's the point. So it's important that the guy who donated the field would make sure to redeem the field. Once it's sold to somebody else, he cannot redeem it. So he will hopefully redeem the field before it's actually sold by the Beis Hamikdash. If not, he loses the field forever, and the field will never be part of his family again. Because even if the Kehanim sell the field, it's going to go under the Beis Hamikdash, not the Kehanim, the Beis Hamikdash, the treasurer we call that one who the Beis Hamikdash that you donated it. After the year of Jubilee, it's going to go back to the Kehanim. It's going to become their property, and that's it. So you will lose the property forever, and that is the completion of the Chumash today. We go now to the Tanya of today. This is totally wrong. We go back to the Tanya of the day. Okay, we started off a beautiful Tanya yesterday, and the Alter Rebbe gave an analogy mainly based on the verse. It says, "Mipsari echze laka," that I can see God. I can have an analogy. I can have a mashal of spirituality from my body itself. And the Alter Rebbe wants to explain the concept of Hashras Hashchina. What means the presence of God? That in the Beis Hamikdash, in the temple, there is the presence of God. What do you mean the presence of God? The presence of God is all over the world. God fills the entire world. So what does it mean the presence of God is in the Shechina? Is in the Beis Hamikdash? Like the verse says, you shall make me a temple, I'll dwell in it. I dwell in the whole world. The whole world I fill. So the Alter Rebbe gives an analogy from the body. That we all know that everything comes from the brain. And from the brain, it goes throughout the entire body. And the Rebbe explained it even much more deeper, that the concept of within the brain and the neshama is considered a simple light. It's not the neshama, you cannot divide into categories and into compartments. The neshama is a poshet, a poshet. But in this poshet, in the simple there's everything. There's everything in a potential state. There's everything. But when you look at the soul itself, it is extremely one concept. When the soul comes into the brain, and now the brain, the chachma, where the soul resides, now the brain gives the capability for the oir haneshama, for the oir of the soul, to be able to come in, to take it, and to be able, that what's within it, the potential that it had within it, to be able to come in each and every 248 limbs and 364 sinews, each one to its own place. So now the potential of the soul to see goes into the eye. The potential of the soul to hear goes into the ear. The potential of the soul to walk goes into the foot, etc., etc. And the Alter Rebbe ended off yesterday that even though the heart is also one of the avarim, one of the limbs of the body, which is also a center part, which also gives life to the rest of the body, because the heart gives the blood to the rest of the body. But the heart itself knows that its life existence, its energy comes from the brain too. So the soul, the heart understands that too, and therefore everything comes from the brain. Everything ultimately comes out into the brain. So that's why the brain is the source of energy to the entire body, which all comes from the soul. That gives the real energy to the brain. But we comprehend the soul in itself, you can put into compartments. Once it comes into the brains, a neurologist can figure out which part of the brain goes to this side and which part of the brain functions this. We know exactly the brain, what functions what. And we can figure that out. And they have figured it out. That which part of the brain goes to where. The right side, the left side, etc. But in the neshama, you cannot see that concept. Even though everything comes from the soul. So everything from the head to the foot ultimately comes from the power of the soul that resonates in the brain. That's the analogy. Now we go to what I'm trying to give me sorry for my own body. If I'm a neurologist, I understood this very well. We can understand the analogy to the concept, the way that God comes in, say the shtalshus, the way God ultimately comes into the world, to each part of the world. It continues in a truly similar manner. Again, figuratively speaking, derech mashal. You can't compare the body to God, self-understood. We're not. There's no comparison between the body and God. Even the seichel, even the neshama of the body. There's no comparison between the human and the concept of the Eibishter. Nobody is, and that's why you have to remember, it's a mashal. It's an analogy. Never forget that. It's an analogy. It's a mashal. Figuratively speaking, it's only that the Eibishter wants that a person should have some comprehension. And that's why there's a mashal. And that's why it says, for my body, I can see God. My body is the analogy. I'm not trying to say my body is God, and I'm not trying to say my soul is God. It's just an analogy. Because God didn't want a person should have, the godliness should be totally out of his realm. No. God forbid. We have to understand God to the best of our capability. What's the greatest way to understand God? Than to understand it for myself. I don't need to go to anybody else. I can understand mipsari for my own body. If I know the way my body and my soul and my brain works, I have the analogy. Am I comparing myself to God? No. God forbid, no comparison. But it's an analogy. So too, the Eibishter Eidin safe. comes into the worlds to animate them. There is a marked similarity between the soul pervading the body, the way the soul comes down into the body, and Ein Sof, God, permeating all the worlds. Just as in the analogy, the soul is found within the surface of the entire body. The soul gives energy to the entire body. Is parallel Ein Sof, fills and found in the entire world. God is found in the entire world as my soul fills my entire body from head to toe. And then you go to the world. Yesh biruyim lein kates. In the world, there are creatures without limit, with tachlis or end. We're not talking about the world. The world is not only in this world. When you say maybe there is a limit to animals, I don't know. There's a number of animals, but we're talking about this world. This world. When you say this world, it means from Atzilus till here, till Olam Asiyah. So now you have Olam Abriya. The Gemara says there's no limit to how many angels there are. Maybe there's a limit to people, but to animals, no limit to angels. So you're going to put all this whole thing together. When we say this world, from the world of Bria till the world of Asiyah, let's say we're not going to talk about the world of emanation, the world of creation, till the world of action, and this physical world, there's unlimited amount of creations. Melachim and the Shabbos, from the angels to the souls to the animals to the vegetation to trees, etc., to every rock. And you should know there are an abundance of worlds. Ain't Ketzugvul, without end or limit. Gavaya, one higher than the other. What does that mean? In the realm of the spirit, separate and distinct entities are a result of their being on a different spiritual grade or level. Thus, a multitude of worlds implies a multitude of varying levels of spirituality. Hence, the sheer numbers of worlds and created being, each differs from the other in its spiritual gradations, is unlimited. Godliness is unlimited. It's unlimited levels of spirituality. And they are all ultimately in the world of creation, in the world from the world of Bria, from the world of creation to the world of action. Early on, when he explained his analogy, the Alter Rebbe pointed out, despite the various differences that exist between one bodily organ and the other, the soul's essence and quality is found in all of them. He now goes on to explain that the analogy of Ein Sof as well, the essence of Ein Sof is found in a hidden manner equally within all worlds. The neshama, just like the soul, is found in the entire body equally. The head cannot say that he has the neshama more than the body, than the foot. The whole body has within it the entire human being. I mean, the whole soul, it has within it the entire soul. Because the soul comprises the whole body. The Eibishter is shouldn't make a mistake that the Eibishter's God is more in the upper world than the lower world. The verse says, the entire world I fill. Nothing is void of me. I fill the entire world. I am in the rock, like I'm in the vegetation, like I'm in the tree, like I'm in the animal, like I'm in the person, like I'm in the malachim. The Eibishter fills the entire world. It's a mistake that people make. They think, God is more higher, he's in the holier place than the lower place. No. As a Olam Kulei, I fill this entire world. So just like the neshama fills the entire body, so too God fills the entire world. God is the world is not hidden from God, and God is not hidden from the world. To God, the upper world, the lower world is the same. God is infinite, so the upper world, those things is higher or lower. To God is those things higher or lower. And that's why the core and the essence of Blessed Ein Sof is the same in the higher and the lower worlds. There's no concept of higher and lower. That's like the soul. You can put compartments in a soul. You can put compartments in a brain, but you can't put compartments in a soul. A soul is is a simple light that goes through everything. The Eibishter can't decompartmentalize God, God forbid. There's no difference between the upper and the lower. There's no upper and lower. Everything is the same. Because of B'tikunim, as brought down in Tikkunim, the Zohar, the EU Sisma, the Sisma, he's hidden from all hidden. Pirush. What does it mean that he's hidden from all hidden? The Afila Ba'almas is telling the Layla that meaning. So the meaning is that even in what we call the concept of hidden, even what we call hidden is hidden. So to God, everything, the upper worlds, what we call very holy, to God it's hidden. To God it's a creation. So to God, even what we call sismayim, what we call hidden, on the Goyis, on the world over here, we can see the upper world is very holy, spiritual. To God, everything is hidden. To God, everything is a creation. Whether it's spiritual creation, whether it's physical creation, it's all to the Eibishter, it's all the same. It's all a concept. The Eibishter is all hidden to all of it. This means that even the higher hidden worlds, he is hidden and concealed within them. Because even in the hidden worlds, what we consider very hidden, to him, he's hidden because he can't reveal himself, as we explained many times. Even in the world of Bria, even Atzilus, the Eibishter can't reveal himself. That would be bottled. If God will reveal himself anywhere, everything will be nullified. That's what we say. The Eibishter fills the world. God fills the world. Mamala Kalama, God surrounds it, encompasses the world, and Kula Kamei Klosh, and everything is nothing. Because why? Because ultimately God is the creator, He's Ein Sof. The hidden is already something finite. It's hidden. When you say something is hidden, that means it's a finite thing. It's hidden from something else. The God is no such thing as hidden. There's no such thing as hidden. There's no such thing as revealed. It's all the same thing. Just like God is concealed in this world, He's concealed in the upper worlds. Thus, the intent of the Kunaz Zohar is not that God is more concealed than other hidden things, but He's concealed even within the hidden world. The reason for this being, because no thought can comprehend Him at all. Even the upper world, no thought can contain God at all. Because the second you say it's a thought, it's a finite. So it might be a very high thought. It might be the ultimate level of thought. Chokhmah, the world of Atzilus, whatever, go up to the highest levels of wisdom and thought. It's still a thought. And therefore, God says, my thought is not your thought. Because godly quality concealed from all the world, no distinction can be made between higher and lower. He defies comprehension from the higher worlds to the same degree that he cannot apprehend it in the lower worlds. So don't feel so bad you don't comprehend. Nobody comprehends. Nobody in this world comprehends. Nobody in the upper world comprehends. Because they can't. Not because they're deficient, not because something's wrong with them. Because the Eibishter thought is infinite in any aspect, any creation, whether it's creation of a soul, whether it's a creation of an angel, whether it's a creation, it's all thought of creation. Impossible for creator to understand its creation, and for creation to understand creator. End of story. So therefore, the Eibishter says, I fill the entire world. Not in the way you fill the world, not even the way the neshama fills the world. That's why the neshama is only an analogy. But I feel the world the way I feel the world. To me, there's no concept of anything that's upper or lower. The truth is, again, it's a small analogy to the soul, to us. The soul is so spiritual to us physical, that to us the soul is like ayin. The soul is nothing, is ayin, so spiritual that it's like ain't soif and compared to the body. So that's how it's the analogy. The analogy is just like the soul is infinite in comparison to the body, but as the soul is not infinite in comparison to God. So in comparison to the body, the soul is infinite. And therefore the analogy is an analogy. Just like the soul that's infinite. And therefore it fills the entire body as one because of its spiritual entity that is above the body and greater than the body, and therefore it fills the entire body as one entity. And then within that infinity of the soul, it has the capability and the potential of each limb of the body. But it's in to the body, it needs so to say the medium of the brain, the chachma, the medium of chachma and bina and das. It's the same analogy we explained to God. So in comparison to the soul, that needs the medium to be able to bring out the soul's potential into the body and into the 448 limbs and the 365 body. But ultimately, the soul, in comparison to God, is not infinite. God is infinite, and the soul is a finite entity. It's a creation of God. So therefore, just like the body, it's hard for him to comprehend the soul. Surely, even the soul is impossible to comprehend its creator. And that's God. It's impossible. So therefore, ultimately, my thought is not your thought. It doesn't make a difference whether it's in this world or in the upper worlds. It has the same quality. And he is found, meaning in regard to where God to be found, just as he's found there, whatever you want to say, God is in the upper worlds, in the higher worlds, so is he to be found in the lower worlds. You cannot say God cannot be found in. You don't know what God is? God fills the entire world. All the worlds equally, which accentuates our question. What is the meaning that God is in the Beis Hamikdash? What is the meaning? We have to still, so we and we're going to come to the analogy. I'm going to come to the analogy of the human being again. So what is the meaning? God that is infinite to the world and therefore fills the entire world. The same, equally. There's no difference between this physical world and Olam Atzilus to God. God fills the world of emanation like he fills this world. So now the question demands even more, if you understand this. What is the meaning that God is found in the temple? God says, I am resting. Where you want to find me in the Beis Hamikdash. And not only the Beis Hamikdash, in a very specific place. I want you to find me in the Holy of Holies, in the Kodesh Kodesh, in the Holy of Holies. And actually, the Torah even continues and says, not only in the Holy, I'm found in the Aron, in this ark, and not only in the ark, but I speak from you, bein shnei hakeruvim. I come forth from the two cherubim. So we have total paradox. God that fills the whole world and then says, I come out from this Beis Hamikdash and from the Beis Hamikdash itself, from the Holy of Holies, and from the Holy of Holies, from this ark, and from the ark, bein shnei hakeruvim, I speak between the two cherubim. What does that mean? What does that mean? And from, again, we know the meaning already because we gave the analogy. The Alter Rebbe already gave the analogy of the soul and the body, and the Alter Rebbe is going to continue. The Tanya ends today. We finished today. We'll continue tomorrow. The Alter Rebbe will continue to explain how, and the Alter Rebbe's beautiful explanation. He goes from the first temple to the second temple, etc., etc. How you see the ultimate revelation of God in the way it was revealed in Beis Hamikdash Harishon, the way it was revealed in Beis Hamikdash Hasheni, and ultimately where it's going to be revealed in Beis Hamikdash Hashlishi, the third temple that will be rebuilt, the Meheira B'Yameinu, which we're hoping, She'ibana Beis Hamikdash. We'll pray. That's what you understand. By understanding this whole concept, you'll understand a greater, deeper aspect of what does it mean that we're praying every day, She'ibana Beis Hamikdash. We're not looking for another building. We're not looking for another capital campaign. We're looking for something much more deeper and much more godliness and revelation than just another building in the world. So Amen. That ends the time of the day. Thank you. Today is the 25th day of the month, which is in Tehillim, in the Psalms, it's half of 119. So if you do for the beginning of the 119, which starts with the letter Aleph, and you go all the way to the letter Lamed, and complete the letter Lamed, then you would have done the Tehillim of the day. You would have done the Chitas of the day. I want to wish you all a wonderful and beautiful day. In Mitcham at 10 a.m., we're going to have a class over here, either at Chabad or on Zoom or on Torah Direct. At 10 a.m., we'll learn a Sikh of the Rebbe. So I hope that you will all come and learn together Sikh of the Rebbe on the Parsha of the week, Parsha of the Chukotai. May we all be blessed with a wonderful, beautiful day. And we'll see you all tomorrow, 8 a.m. We'll continue the Chitas of the day.